Oh, yes, Sophie, that would be great for future use because I have not been able to figure it out. Oh, good, we're recording. Okay. So if you're joining us on the replay, we're hosting a 3-day refresh group starting January 6th. That's for anybody on Andrea's team, my team, who's ever. Hi, Justin. Um, and I'm just gonna start sharing my screen and get to this. You can totally interrupt me if you think of things or like you need to stop me. Like I said, I can't see your screen unless I can only see like one at a time, but I can see the chat. So I'm going to get this out here. Um, Basically, I tried to put together some things that I think are keys to success in the business. And one thing to know also is that you can take what you want from this because you're the business owner of your own business. And so do what feels good, but also don't skip things just because maybe they're uncomfortable for you, if that makes sense. That's usually something that I think I've learned now is like your biggest nudge and something that you want to lean into and definitely do if it makes you nervous or uncomfortable. So I have 5 things. Okay, number 1, be consistent AF. As consistent as possible, show up. Um, Show up as yourself, and not as anybody else. You're going to find your tribe when you're showing up as you and authentically you, and just don't let any areas of your business get to zero. So when you're showing up and doing all the things, obviously not everything's going to always be at a 10, but you can't let anything get to a 0. Think about when that person that's been following you and that day that they are ready and they decide to show up, or they decide they're ready and you didn't show up and you're not there, they're probably going to go with somebody else. So whether the only thing you get done that day is your workout and you share the video or the sweaty selfie, do it. Maybe you don't get to every single thing on your tracker, but show up as much as you can, as often as you can. The other part of that is, um, while you're showing up, make sure that you follow a plan, get results and follow a plan, because people are watching and they need to know that this isn't something that you are doing and that they can't figure out. You need to show them that there is a plan and it's simple and that they can follow it too. Um, and that they will have no guesswork. And then on the side there, consistency is more important than perfection. So it, I mean, if you're waiting for the perfect time, the perfect picture, the perfect filter, the perfect post, like you are never going to find it. It will not be the perfect time. And also perfect isn't relatable. So you don't need to worry about being perfect. You just need to show up. So if you haven't posted any workout videos yet because you haven't found the right app that you want to play it or whatever, you can literally record it on your phone and post that video. You don't need to know those things right now. And those things add bells and whistles and they look nice. But remember, if you're waiting for perfect, or you're like, well, I don't have enough time to clip this video and this and that, post whatever you have in your stories, because people don't care that much about it being perfect as much as, oh, you're going to show up every day and I can count on you to help me because I haven't been able to show up every day, but I need to know I can count on you. Number 2, I put as personal development and being really specific with your personal development. Like, yeah, Rachel Hollis is amazing. I love her, but what do you need right now? Like, do you need to know more about like how to write your story? Well, then you need to find a podcast or a book that is exactly about that. Do you need mindset work? The only hard part of this job is keeping your mindset right. Like none of the rest of it is hard. None of it takes rocket science, lots of degrees, literally nothing, other than keeping your mindset right. Like, it's got to be abundance, and just very you can block people if you are not in the right mindset. So you've got to stay really positive and open and know that you are doing great work. And then also I wrote down stay in your lane. Like do what you need to do with your personal development. You don't need to like if I post hey, I'm listening to this podcast, Angie Lee, this morning. If that is not what you need that day, then don't do what I'm doing. We're all different. And so what you need is different than what I need. And sometimes there's a month where I absolutely have to have Jim Fortin going because I have got to work on my own personal mindset. And then other months lately, I've been focusing on business things. So I've been just downing Melanie Mitro and Angie Lee and some Mel Robbins. So it be very, very intentional, be very specific with this part. And always do things to keep your mindset right. So whether that is going to, honestly, I've been going to, if you were at mine and Brittany's retreat, we had Mariah there. I've been going to her at least monthly. She does energy healing and things. It might sound funky, but it helps me stay in an open, very mindset happy place. So like I said, whatever is specific to you, you need to do it. All right, number 3, get deep. So share your story. But this can't just be like fluff, like, oh, I started these workouts. Okay, I don't know. You have got to get deep. You have got to find out what are those posts that you start writing and then you stop because you just can't find the right words you tell yourself, or you are, it's nerve wracking. It makes you want to like stop and you question it and it gives you butterflies in your stomach. Yeah, those are the posts that you have got to post. What pain points do you have, or does your customer have? What are they? Figure them out, and then you need to speak to those. One thing that Angie Lee has been preaching, and some of the ones I've been listening to, is you and your. So this is an example of a post I put up like last week. I wrote it out and I started with my story. My third baby, I gained 50 pounds again, blah, blah, blah. But then she said, you just go back in and switch your eyes and things to you, because someone reading that post can't, like, they're just, if it says because I could have kept writing, no one else needs help. Why do I? I should be happy all the time. Why aren't I? Aren't I grateful? You know what I mean? Now I've eaten a half carton of Ben and Jerry's, and probably it was a full carton, but a half. Okay. Anyways, when you switch it to you, their brain can start seeing it as themselves. And it's very empowering for them to read versus just, yeah, that's good for her. That's her story. They start to see themselves in that story. So take some time to figure out what your personal story is. And for a lot of us, there's going to be lots of parts to it. Those are different posts. So you have got to brain dump, figure out where your turning points in life were, where you were just like, I can't keep doing what I'm doing. And then you need to speak to that. And like I said before, when whatever makes you think twice about sharing, like, ooh, makes you nervous, you feel like you don't want to do it, you share that post, because that is the one that people are going to relate to the most. Number 4, this one might be obvious, inviting. Okay, you have to invite people to join you. Do not overthink this, and just take action. Inviting is probably the biggest income producing business activity that you can do. And we do not need to make up stories to ourselves and tell ourselves why so-and-so doesn't need to be invited, because they run and they're probably fit already and they just have it all together. Those are your stories. Your job is to send them the invite. We don't need to be making decisions for other people. You send them the invite and let them decide from there if this is what they need or not. You have no idea what is going on in their own personal life behind closed doors. You could be the light that somebody desperately needs, and you just have no idea who that is. And but think of how that is amazing that that could literally be you. You could be the light for somebody. Like, that's one of the most amazing things I think about this job. And then when you really look at your numbers, if you have goals, you have success club numbers or people you want to add, and you're not getting there every single month, you have got to sit down and do some reflecting. If you haven't been following a tracker, you have no idea how many invites you send out per month, maybe 10, maybe 100, maybe 50. You need to know that number and really ask yourself, is it enough? Are you following up with people you've invited in the past? And then when you look at your inviting, are you adding followers? Are new people looking at your things? You should be following people on a regular basis, especially on Instagram, following and unfollowing people. You have got to take time to comment on people's pictures. Um, and typically, the algorithm I think right now is 4 words or more. You have got to take that time to like photos and comment. While it might seem weird because the people you're commenting on, you may not even know them, you just have to, because it, you need people to come and check out your page and see your content, and that's how it's going to grow. So if you're thinking I don't have anyone to invite, then go through your follow-up list and follow up with people. Check in. If they told you no because they already do, they just bought a gym membership, you write them back and ask, how is it going? Are you getting to the gym enough? You send them a message and ask, because then they might say, oh, actually, no, I haven't made it to the gym. It's really hard to leave your house in Minnesota in the winter. Anyways, okay, so invite, make sure you're doing enough inviting. And this thing, inviting for me, I used to put off until the end and just put it off, put it off, put it off, because it seemed awkward at first. The more you do it, I promise it will seem normal. You will get better at your conversations, and you won't think twice of it, but you need to do it. Number 5, let it change your life. Will you be here long enough for this to change your life? We all know, or if you're brand new, you might not know, but turning emerald does not make you make life-changing money. It just doesn't. You have got to show up every day. And while if you break down the numbers to our paychecks and the hours we put into this per day, we're probably making pennies or dollars on the hour. But can you see the vision? Like, do you know how life-changing this could be? And will you stay here long enough to see the compound effect happen? Will you let that vision come to life? That's what I want you to think about. And then this is something over this last year of coaching for me. Do what is uncomfortable. I used to avoid literally anything and everything that might make me uncomfortable because it's uncomfortable. But whatever it is for you, talking on your stories, that was a huge one for me. I would not do it. Now I do it every single day, and I look like a hot mess express, and I don't care. I just do it. I don't think twice about that anymore. It will get easier, and the parts that are uncomfortable for you now are the parts that people need to hear, that you need to lean into. Um, this is your business. You are a business owner. I don't care if you started today, if you have no customers, if you have 1 or 100, you own this business. How would a business owner act? And when you're doing things daily, or you're scarfing down an entire pizza. I'm not saying don't have pizza, but would a business owner act how you're acting? So you're the owner. Take charge of your own business. Let me turn this off. Um, all right. Do we have questions? I could not see the chat while I was up. Let me check a second. Yes, Angie Lee. Oh my gosh. All of you can do this. Yes, literally all of us can do this. And I can't believe that a year ago, a little more than a year ago, I started coaching. I would not speak on my stories at all. I wanted to vomit when Andrea asked me to speak for like 2 minutes on my first team call. And here I am getting to lead our last call of the decade. I couldn't tell you how thankful I am for all of you, this team, and all the things that this has brought into life. And you all can do this. Anybody have questions, things? What are you wondering? What else can we add before we close this out? Anybody?
I I would love to hear just you kind of blab a little bit about how you have just lit a fire under your team. Like, what do you feel like you are doing that could be duplicated by other girls in our downline to do the same thing?
Whew, that's a tough one. Honestly, I don't feel like I do a lot of special things. So when you ask that, I'm like, I don't know, I don't do anything. But in the same sense, it doesn't just happen by itself. I think showing up, sharing my own story, like I said, leaning into the uncomfortable has been huge, because now the people on my team, they're my people for sure. Like, they're my tribe. And I wouldn't have found them, or they wouldn't have joined me, if I didn't share things that resonated with them. And then face to face stuff. I mean, the retreat Brittany and I put together in November, people have been, myself included, Brittany included, have just been soaring so high from that. So if you get a chance to go to face-to-face things, whether it's a retreat, an overnight, or a day, or an hour, or meeting us for dinner one night, like, you have to go, because it just lifts your vibrations, and your energy is so high that I think it's contagious. So that's really what has happened from the people that were at that retreat, that were on my team and Brittany's team. It's been so contagious that it's just been spreading like wildfire. And when you surround yourself by that much positivity and go-getters, like, the other little bits in life that try to bring you down, they can't bring you down, because there's too much good and amazingness around you. So yeah, I don't know. Did I answer it? Anybody else? Okay, then we'll wrap it up. Brittany and I were talking about having our team calls earlier, because both of us can't stay up this late. I don't even know if she's still on. She might be asleep. So maybe in 2020, Better Brave's going to have like morning AM calls, but we'll see. Thanks for coming on, everybody, and staying up with us. Finish your decade out strong, people, right? Let's do this. Okay, good night.